Hi everybody. I try to answer questions and comments that I get sometimes, so a real short video talking about some of the things, reflections on the Oak Hill Industrial Railroad anyhow. First of all, I asked the question a couple weeks ago in the first video if they thought the volume was too low, and a couple people said they thought it was. Not terrible, but I went and bumped it up a little bit, not much, but I did bump it up a little bit. Second thing, and also in that one of the videos where I was switching Ohio fire brick, since I was the one where I really did the close-ups of the entire thing, you could really see the boxcars bouncing back and forth. And it's the function of the springs and the microtrains couplers, which end scalers know about, have known about forever. I did a video about it, gosh, I don't know, probably over a year ago, where I took the springs out and replaced with little pieces of rubber band, and that works pretty well. It definitely, but the catch is you have to have the rubber band exactly right. If it's too long, it basically forces the coupler to one side. It's difficult to operate. If it's too short, then it still allows the coupler to bounce a little bit. So it's something that you can do, but it's a little labor intensive. So I'm going to show you something I did this time as a trial, and we'll see if that's going to work. Also, I talked about in the last video about the book by Thomas Komansky. So I'm going to show you, insert a picture of the books that I've got. I don't have a big library, but these books are about model railroading and my type of model railroading. So I'll put a picture in here so you'll see the books that I use a lot anyhow, books I constantly use as reference. So I mentioned in one of my videos about the Building the Right Size Layout by Tom Komansky. There's no N in it, it's Komansky on the right. I really like that book. Beside it says Layout, Design, and Planning. These are all model railroader books. Is Tony Custer, and he's always been a sort of a hero of mine, I guess, maybe someone I've always liked his articles. We did Trains of Thought and Model Railroader. And another one, Layout, Design, and Planning, is a fairly new book by Lance Menheim. And I also have the other Lance Menheim book. So these are all books that I look at all the time. Sometimes you read a book and you never read it again. These are all books that I can pick up, I can take with me when I go on trips in the hotel and lay there in bed and always get something out of them. So don't know any of these guys, not getting any kickbacks or anything. But I think these are good books if you're thinking about a shelf layout or a smaller layout. Okay, so idling right now, I've got the momentum program to 5. So let's see what it does when I start incrementally speeding it up. So this is a 3. So the engine revs before it starts moving. I go to 4, there's no change. Go to 5. And that's about as fast as I'll ever run it, to be honest with you. Yeah. If I'm heading to Chillicothe, maybe I'll go to 6 or something, but that's about it. So I appreciate Double Diamond for telling me, adding the momentum in. That definitely helped. The engine doesn't move before it revs up. So I'll go back the other way. That's a 3, 4, and 5. All right, so that helped that issue. So if you're an N scale and you use microtrains couplers, you know about this issue. And I actually did a video about it, how one way to solve it a long time ago. Basically, the springs compress and then push away and compress and push away. So when you're going down the tracks, especially if you're pushing, I have seen it happen when you're pulling too. If you don't have very many cars, the car is just on this. It's just oscillating because of the springs compressing and pushing away and compressing and pushing away. that's really the only fault I have with Microtrain's couplers. This is that new Rapido car I just got, and it does have the Microtrain's couplers on it. I just wanted to use it to illustrate. So I'll show you the video now of what made a couple people comment about it in the last operating session. So here's the clip that I guess generated the question, and you can see how they're bobbing, and it's basically caused by the springs in the Microtrain's couplers. And to me, this ruins the illusion that these are 100-ton cars when you zoom in like this. So next I'm going to show you what it looks like after I fixed it. Same cars, same track, same locomotive, same speed. It's funny because the video I showed you of the way it was, I had to film my own video on my computer because I had already deleted it from my phone, and YouTube wouldn't let me download it without trying YouTube Premium. I don't keep my videos. Once they're out there on YouTube, I delete them. But you can see it's pretty smooth. There's no bobbing, none of the unrealistic stuff, and I even slow down here to speed step 2 and then finally to speed step 1 when I'm getting ready to spot the cars, and it looks just like it should. So next I'll show you what I did for these cars, which took me all of about 10 minutes. And it may not be for everybody, but I'm going to run a trial, see how it works. Okay, I have a little blob of grease on the tip of this toothpick. You use any type of grease. You use Vaseline. This is something I got really, really old. This thing's probably 20 years old or older. I bought it to lubricate the gears on my G-scale Shay, the outside running gears. So you see I've got the car here. So it's going to be almost impossible but I just pulled the coupler over and I just jam that grease in there. And I work it around. And of course, this is going to defeat the self-centering in the coupler. So it probably will not center like it should. So if you use automatic on couplers, don't want to do this. Yeah. It's definitely a lot stiffer than it was. But what it should do is also alleviate that bouncing, as you saw in the video. First of all, I want to thank Double Diamond for his comment about adding the momentum into the locomotive. I'm going to have to start doing that more. I think pay attention to the locomotives when I put them on the layout, because my locomotives don't live on the layout. I just have one at a time on there, and I put them back in the case when I'm not using them. So anyhow, the session that you're seeing now, I did actually program some momentum into the Western Maryland engine. So hopefully it'll make a difference for you. Second thing we'll talk about is that this is a trial. I've heard of other people doing this, but I've never really tried it. I've probably got 50 cars with the rubber bands in them. I haven't done that in a while. So we'll see if it works, and I'll keep you posted on it. It's the good thing about it is I think that it would be easy to flush out. If it doesn't work, I don't like it, I think I could probably get some little tiny micro brush with a rubbing alcohol or something, and just hold the car by hand and just sort of jam it up in there and flush the stuff out if it doesn't work. I do want to mention, I have talked about in the past, they make Microtrains makes those springs that goes on the axle, and I'll reiterate this before, the problem is with the coupler, not the wheels. So if you're adding drag to the wheels, all you're doing is hiding the coupler problem. So I would prefer to address the coupler problem. Also, like especially that little Bachmann engine that you saw, the OHI Railroad, he had to mill the frame some to put the ESU in, so it doesn't have a lot of pulling power now. If I would start putting a spring on every car, I don't know how many cars it could pull, because I'm not running through trains. Remember, they used to say, I'll put one of those springs on the caboose and it'll eliminate that. Well, I don't have a caboose a lot of times, and I'm moving individual cars around quite a bit. So I'd have to put a spring on basically every car if I was going to do that. And that would greatly reduce the pulling power of some of these locomotives, I think. So I'll try it. I'll keep you posted. Go ahead, question, comment. I always welcome questions and comments, even though I probably should have some flame-proof pants on with this one. Sort of like when I talked about track cleaning. There's some things that people have very, very strong opinions on, and this is probably going to be one of them. So that's it for now. I do have one more brief thing that I want to talk about here at the end. But wait, there's more. We moved my wife's piano into the train room today to get it out of her art studio. So what that does is it opens up a whole new possibility of sound for my trains. So let me demonstrate. So this is one of Tux's favorite things to do. Play the piano. Now we've got Norfolk Southern southbound coming by. He's looking at Ellen right now. She's trying to coach him because usually he'll go back and forth on the piano at her bidding. But I figure with a little bit of practice, he'll be able to add some soundtrack to my engines, the ones that don't have sound, like this. So you won't have to suffer through silent videos anymore. So who needs sound anyhow? Everybody stay safe.